the one position that, as I look at the depth chart going into the 21 season, that really worries me, that I'm really going to be paying attention to in the 22 class, is the safety position. That position has just been decimated just due to not recruiting it well. I mean, frankly, that's where it comes from. It's not really that guys are leaving. Now, there has been a little bit of that. And if Houston Griffith ended up staying in the transfer portal, I would be really worried, not only about who's going to play this year, but what that looks like moving forward. But you're going to lose Kyle Hamilton after this year. This is maybe his last year. So you've got to restock. Now, there was a couple of good safeties in the 21 class. You've got to follow that up with 2 to 3 safeties, in my personal opinion. What is your thoughts on the needs at the safety position?
I think the numbers wise, Vince, depends on a couple things. Who you get at corner. Okay. To where are you comfortable taking one corner? And we'll get into that here in a few. And the other part is, what do you do with that fourth linebacker spot? For example, if you get a Jalen Sneed who's 262, 215, he may be a pure rover, which means, okay, we're gonna go with more of a rover type there. So we don't necessarily need a third safety in this class. If they are going to run the defense that Marcus Freeman ran at Cincinnati, then I think a third safety is going to be needed in this class.
Okay, gotcha.
So again, it's also about, do you like what's out there? That's the other thing, is you can't take a third guy just as a body.
To take a third guy, right?
So, but so far they're on some good safeties. There's Xavier Nwankpa is a guy that is a top 100 recruit. He likes Notre Dame, but he's going to be tough pull. He's from Iowa. He's going to be a tough pull because everybody in the country wants him. Alabama wants him. Ohio State wants him. But they're on him. They're going after him. I think that when you look at, there's a couple athletic guys that aren't highly ranked that I love. Jake Pope from Georgia. And there's a kid in California named Cooper Barkate, Vince, who I like a lot. Again, 3-star recruit, but I don't get it. Like, I don't get that. Like, I watch him play. I see a 6'1", 180-pound athletic kid that could play receiver. I think one of the recruiting services has him ranked as a receiver. He's long. He's athletic. He's a kid that if he would have played as a junior, he's from California, so no football in 2020.
Right.
He would have a completely different reputation right now, in my opinion. That's a kid can flat out ball. He plays a lot of – and if you watch him in high school, he plays a lot of corner and he plays a lot of slot, which means this is a kid that can cover.
Right.
He flips his hips as good as any safety Notre Dame has signed in recent seasons. So, he's even got some big corner skill to him. You put some big corner skill at safety, like legit, because like what often happens is people say, well, if a guy's not good enough to play corner, he can go to safety. Well, what makes you think he's going to be good enough to play safety at an elite level? What you really look for is this guy can play corner, but he projects better to safety. Or he could play corner, but here's just other guys that are better. Like this notion of, well, he's not athletic enough to play corner, so move him to safety. That's not really what you want when you're at Notre Dame. Some guys are just pure safeties, and that's fine, but you don't necessarily want a guy that can't play corner to move to safety. This kid could play corner, big corner in certain defenses. I like him better at safety. So he's a guy to keep an eye on. He's a guy the staff is going after. But again, it's a big board. It's an expansive board. We're going to learn a lot about Chris O'Leary with this class because you need, like you talked about, you need not only do you need 2 to 3 guys, but you need 2 to 3 like dudes.
Guys.
You need guys who can flat out play.
Yeah, right.
And now you're asking Chris O'Leary to do that in his first year. So he's getting thrown to the fire, but I kind of like the challenge. I mean, we're going to find out right now what Chris O'Leary's made of. The other thing is I don't see Marcus Freeman, Mike Mickens, Mike Elson, and Brian Polian just saying, good luck, kid. See you on signing day.
Right.
With Chris O'Leary. They're going to help him. They're gonna have his back. They're going to tag team a lot of these kids because that's what smart coaches do, and I believe that that's what Notre Dame is going to do. So I don't think he's going to just be out there. The safety class is going to be 100% dependent upon him getting it done. I think it's going to be a team effort. But, of course, he's going to have to connect with these kids because he's going to be the one coaching them. So, he's going to get a great opportunity to show what he's made of right away. And if he can land 2 to 3 really good players, then you're going to say, you know what, that was a heck of a hiring. Maybe he doesn't have the name reputation of some other coaches, but this kid can get it done. If he doesn't, then people are going to say, gee, I wonder what Kerry Cooks could have done. I mean, that's just how it's going to go.
Yep.
So it's a big year for him. It's a big year for the team because, like you said, struck out completely at safety in 2020. 2019, you've got Kyle Hamilton. He's going to be gone. And Litchfield Ashevon has played a grand total of, I believe, 0 snaps on defense. 2018, you got Houston Griffith left. There's no guarantee he's going to come back for a 5th year. He almost left after this year, and then Derek Allen's gone. And DJ Brown, to me, is not a guy you want to build around. So you look and say, well, what do you have at safety? You got 2 incoming freshmen you don't know about. One of them may be better suited for that rover. Actually, they both may be better suited for that rover role, which means, you can maybe focus on more back end guys in this class. So I do think there's you could put one at the rover spot, keep one at safety, and still focus on the back end guy. So I do like the versatility and length of the 2021 class. And I think the landing Kerry G at the end gives them a little bit more of a breathing room in 2022, because if you didn't get Kerry G, then you do have to bring in bodies. Like you couldn't afford to not get 3 in this class. If that means you got to take a guy that maybe doesn't grade out as a Notre Dame caliber player, you need to have a depth chart. Otherwise, you're going to have to start moving guys
around. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you never want to move guys because you have to. You want to move guys because you're like, hey, this guy can help us somewhere else, not because, well, we don't have anybody. And that's what happened with Sean Crawford. The only reason Sean Crawford started at safety this year is because of decisions the staff made that put the depth chart in a spot, and because some coaching decisions that were poor, but you were forced to kind of put Sean Crawford in there. Partly also due to COVID, guys having to sit out because of, either they had COVID or in this case at safety, they were a roommate with someone who got it. So then they're automatically out longer than the guy who actually got it, which different conversation for a different day. But, that put them in a bind, and they were forced to put Sean Crawford there. And then, they left him there. But again, different show. That conversation is a different show, but it's a huge year at safety, Vince.
Yes. Then
linebacker and safety, safety, Vince.
Yep.
It's because what you're in is you're in a year where you not only need to get numbers, you need to get impact numbers.
Right.
And that can be a challenge, and so, but if they pull it off, it should give you a lot of confidence as a Notre Dame fan that this defensive staff is going to get on track. Because let's be honest, Clark Lee did a great job as a defensive coordinator when it came to building a team based on the guys he had. He has not done as good of a job of preparing the defense for future success because he wasn't a great recruiter. He wasn't a grinder. He was very slow and deliberate, and anyone that knows Clark Lee is not surprised by that. Very slow and deliberate about who to offer. But when you do that with top players, by the time you offer, you don't have a chance, you're out.
They're gone, yeah.
And so that's a big reason why they struck out so often. And, and if it wasn't for Mike Mickens putting in, Herculean effort at cornerback recruiting, we'd be talking about 3 positions where Notre Dame was in a tough spot coming into this cycle. But fortunately, they were able to rescue that. But safety is now a position where after 2021, and based on the current roster after 2022, you got nothing except the freshmen. I mean, that's the fact. I mean, you have the freshmen that are coming in now and nothing beyond that. There's no other position where it's that bleak.
Yeah.
Which means the freshmen have to pan out, but then you need to follow them up with an even better class.